Hello and welcome back to Byron's Adventures in Bannerlord, and we're up against a very large Botanian army. There's actually a reason why this happened. We had a bunch of, well, as you can no doubt see here, a bunch of very small vassals, about 96, 64, 42 in each of their armies and so on, and they were all kind of grouping up in defense of Lanark Hen Castle. And of course, as you know from the previous episode ending, we had another army of about 1,000 roundabout here, roundabout in Pen Cannock, around here. And this large Botanian army was kind of a bit indecisive about what to do. And, well, you can kind of see that has completely, well, I'm going to say completely destroyed them. It has basically destroyed them. There is nothing they can do now because we have them in our grasp, and they will not be able to escape. So let us see if we can pull off a decent victory without too many casualties. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing we have to worry about here. And also, I'm going to be making a much more, shall we say, concerted effort to stay alive myself. Because, you know me, I generally tend to die quite often. And, well, me dying doesn't really bother me that much, but it does bother Byron. It does bother him because, let's face it, he's getting, well, he's not getting old, he is old. He is very, very old indeed. He's almost ancient, I think, but obviously, I'm not entirely sure if he's some kind of supernatural being at this point, considering he is basically just as effective as he always was, and, well, he's still spry as a spring chicken, I guess you could say, but yeah, that is kind of funny. Alright, we're going to just make sure that our people are in decent formations as well. Let's actually move my cavalry over there, move my horse archers over there as well. We're kind of just going to let our infantry take a pretty decisive brunt of the full assault here to begin with. And then we're just going to head in, do some stabbing. And we're also going to tell my cavalry to charge in now as well, so that we can hopefully come in from the side. Yeah, tactics, maybe not necessary, you know. I mean, at the moment, tactics are very much optional in this kind of battle, because we just have so much combat strength in comparison to the opponent. But bear in mind, as I said, we do want to try and maximize our survivability as much as we possibly can, because having additional units to spend through our vassals is always going to be preferable to not, you know, because let's face it, if we want these guys to actually be effective against the upcoming war with the Crusade, because no doubt, oh yeah, mark my words, I wouldn't be surprised if the Crusade declare war against us in this particular episode. So if they do, we might be in for a bit of trouble, because as we know, they have a massive amount of combat strength, they have more than us. And we also have to bear in mind that the Botanians and the Vlandians are not actually yet eliminated, and that's something that we definitely need to get on with. And that's the reason why I wanted to try and safeguard this army of ours as much as we possibly could, and try to prevent the enemy from taking out as many units as we possibly could, and supporting our people in the process. So yeah, that seems to be it, to be honest. And there we have it. The last remaining enemies are fleeing, and we're going to be getting probably not that much renown, as you can see, because the combat strength is just so incredibly in our favor, and still we're gaining 62 renown. Pretty awesome. Otherwise, as you can see, we do get some relation with Toby here, which does help us to maintain his allegiance, I guess you could say. And we're also going to be letting every single other person go, with the exception maybe of if Caladog is here, maybe then we'll keep Caladog. But as I said before, we do want to make sure that we have as much, shall we say, sway with the enemy as we possibly can. We're going to be taking all of these troops just purely for the fact that they are free, and we can hopefully put them to good use. And also we're going to just take a quick look at the various cavalry that we might have available here as well. As I've said before, you know my reasoning for not taking the prisoners due to various reasons. And, well, who knows? Maybe our vassals will be actually taking some of the prisoners here. So that could actually be quite useful to them. Anyway, we are now ready to continue onward. And I think we're probably going to end up taking this. Let's actually just take a quick look. Who's that? Ah, yes, that's Servic. He's running away. Aha, look at this. Oh, this is nice. Great. Ah, this is fantastic. So yeah, the Botanians, they're having a pretty terrible time of things. They lost 2 of their very, very strong, important armies. Wouldn't be surprised. Let me actually just take a quick look at the combat strength. You can see they're just under 6,000 at this point. The Vlandians are 3,400, and of course the Crusade, they're not that far ahead of us. We would probably be able to beat them in a pretty regular siege. Probably nothing too drastic to be done to beat them. And oh yeah, thank you very much to those of you in the comments, by the way. I'm kind of I never really use these things. Even when using my computer, I never really use these top menus in any way. That's including, you know, Windows Explorer and browsers and stuff like that. I never use these things up here when they're available. And that's definitely something I need to work on. But here's the thing. Thank you so much. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I prattle on, I know. But thank you very much for telling me that I can click on this and then I can see who's closest to me. Yeah. I mean, I know that they've added this functionality in basically every single aspect of the game, but I am just... I never do that. I, for some reason, am always like, oh, no, I can't possibly use this extra functionality that helps me so significantly. No. That is just... terrible of me, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, I think this should be enough. I don't really want to have a huge army. I just literally want to, well, that's 1,300 units. But yeah, I basically just want to go in here and just take the castle just super fast. So we'll hopefully be able to do that. Let's build some trebuchets, I suppose. I don't think trebuchets are really necessary at a castle here, but I think it's going to be worth it. Let's get the siege. And, oh, look at this. Ah, yes, we've taken the town again. Oh, yes, of course. Okay, so I'm actually not going to be giving this to myself any further. We're just going to give it to Padmos. I think giving it to myself is basically pointless at this juncture because it's just going to continually get taken unless we have some vassal looking after it. You know, I think as soon as I gain maybe above 1,100 or something like that, I think I might just go in with an auto-resolve, and there we go. I think that's literally what's going to happen. I don't think I really want to go and do any kind of, you know, taking down of the walls or something like that, because let's face it, that's going to take a huge amount of my food. I know someone actually asked me, what is the difference, or shall we say, I think you asked me something like, why do you say that it saves time doing an auto-resolve versus doing a normal battle? Well, it saves normal time, if you know what I mean. So basically, I've just done an auto-resolve. That took me, what, 10 seconds? I think that took me 10 seconds or something like that. Whereas a normal battle, if I were to go in, or if I were to build my siege equipment, how long would that take? That would take me a couple of minutes at least, and then I would actually be going in to the actual battle, and that would take me a couple more minutes. So generally, it definitely saves time. It definitely saves time, and it makes it possible for me to move on and do more things in the episode, if you know what I mean. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. All right, so I don't think we have anything that I really want to take. And maybe some of my people will actually end up taking some of the prisoners there as well. And otherwise, we're going to disband our army now. That's literally all I wanted them for, just for the wonderful... Oh, wow. Okay, I should probably give this to Kareth, shouldn't I? He has nothing, as you can see. Yeah, he has absolutely nothing, so I'm going to give it to Kareth. I really don't want to continue taking fiefs for myself. I feel like that is a bit too greedy, because I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have 5 towns, and 3 of them have over 10,000 prosperity. How can I say no to that, you know? I'm pretty happy with what we currently have. Alright, so I'm just going to go into my army here, disband the entire thing, and let them go about their business. And hopefully they're going to chase down these various parties here as well. Alright, so we do have a bit of a situation here. Ooh, yeah, that's a bit too much, isn't it? Yes, that is a bit too much. Oh yeah, someone also told me that it might be an idea for me to get this. I had a look at this. I'm not sure if I had a look at this off screen or whether I had a look at this in the previous episode, but I just want to show you this because basically what you said in your comment was this is a really good policy to take if you want to try and improve the defenses of your fiefs, because it's going to allow you to produce more militia per day. The only unfortunate thing about that is tax income in settlements is reduced by 10%. So if I were to take a look, for example, at my fiefs here, so 10% of 10,000. Oh no, maths. Oh dear. We should probably not say anything about maths because I'm going to embarrass myself. Super hardcore here, but yeah. Okay, so let's have a look. So 10,000. 10% of that is 1,000, right? Isn't it? Or is it 100? That's the point. I am so bad. I apologize, but no, I think it is 1,000. So we would lose 1,000 prosperity technically from that, kind of, or really depends on what you are wanting to go for, really, because you're not going to lose prosperity, but you're going to lose the percentage of taxes that you gain from that prosperity. It's obviously not a flat value reduction or anything like that, so shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, it might be. It might be worth it. It might be worth it. Okay, I'm actually going to speak to this guy. I think he is actually he is actually the liege of the lake rats, and we're going to be doing calculating. Yeah, I should probably have done charm, shouldn't I? Oh well, never mind. Let's do charm here. It's because I'm looking at it too much. I should just do charm all the time. Let's do charm there. Okay, come on, critical success, critical success. We need an option. Never mind. Never mind. Oh well, yeah, it would have been really, really cool if we could have gotten this guy, because he actually has a pretty significant amount of strength that he brings to Botania. So we could auto-resolve, or we could just go in. I mean, I think that's pretty significant power level disparity, so I'm pretty happy to just go in here. As you can see, he barely does any damage, and we just lost 4 units. It's really not going to be a big deal. And look at that guy. He literally, oh, wow, he literally gave us 20,000, so I assume that because we had these guys in our faction and we were paying them a massive amount, like literally we were paying them so much, that they have an overabundance of money now. So that is probably pretty bad for us, because if we do want to persuade them at some point in the future, they're probably going to be like, oh, no, I'm sorry, we're millionaires now because you paid us so much money earlier on. That's probably what's going to happen. But anyway, we'll just take the various cavalry here. Is there anything else? No, doesn't seem to be anything else. So we can make our way onwards and take the loot. Okay, so now what we want to do is, I think we probably want to check out some of these other places. It seems like these are not that easy to take, unfortunately. What about Praven? Whoa, 1,900 there. 2,000 in Oxhall. Oh, okay, that's a bit problematic, isn't it? All right, so I'm just selling a little bit of my loot here and buying some olives. As you can see, I just bought 162 huge amount of olives, and I don't think I really have anything else here to do, to be honest. I really wanted to try and find a town. I might be able to go to Sargot, actually. If I go over there, then we might very well have the opportunity to gain some pretty significant money, because I don't think that's really been under siege that much. We do have an army going over here. Joron is maybe going to be doing something. I'm not entirely sure if he will, but it would be quite nice to see if he does. Okay, these guys only have 60,000. It's really not that much. As you can see, I can sell these weapons for such a significant amount, at least the swords. And the hatchets are obviously the bandit weapon of choice for the most part. And so they're really not going to be providing us with that much. But as you can see, it all adds up. It all adds up by a pretty significant amount. And we'll just leave them with a little bit of cash. We'll just buy all of this. How much do I actually have left? Let me have a look. 30. Oh, okay. 30 is not exactly great. There's a grain village, though, so we'll probably head over there and see what we can do. Now, I'm thinking what we'll probably head on over to is probably a nearby castle, because I'm thinking if I can do that... Oh, you know what? We probably need to try and consolidate the Botanian territory more, right? I mean, the thing is, I'm trying to very much consolidate Vlandian territory, but I'm also trying to do that to Botania at the same time. It's kind of difficult to get that working. So I guess we'll just go over to Remtoil Castle and actually see what's going on. And, oh, look at this. Ingaltha is doing more stuff. Yes, we like him a lot, apparently. Oh, Falentes. Wait a minute. Falentes? Let's have a look-see here. Ah, Tassanor. Was he part of my... Was he part of my, my faction? I don't think so. I think I failed to persuade him that one time. So he's now joined the Vlandians, which I think is probably a pretty big mistake because they are more than likely the ones next to be eliminated. And oh, look at this. We only have 657 to be taken here. So I suppose what I'm going to do is once again call for an army. We're just going to call for the first couple of units, and we can very easily, yeah, 1,300. That is going to be perfectly fine. And just like that, we have 1,200 units. I'm going to wait for the last person to get in here. There we go. And now we will be just doing an auto-resolve. It is going to be so incredibly fast, and we will be able to take the castle no problem at all. Now, the reason why I'm doing these auto-resolves really quickly is so that I can literally just get this castle, then get another castle potentially, and then another one after that. So it is more a way of speed capturing. And that's what I'm trying to do here, because usually the AI is not really going to be able to have any answer for this, because yes, they can do sieges, and yes, they can take things back relatively quickly, but they're never going to be able to take it as quickly as us, at least in my opinion. So we're going to give this to someone here. We're going to give this to Joran, I suppose. I mean, he already has some stuff. Oh, I should have given it to Incurion, actually. My bad, my bad. Next thing that we see that has Incurion as an option, we'll probably give it to him. And yeah, we can now disband our army once again. We don't really need to worry about that. We have a huge amount of influence as it is. Don't really need to be too concerned with our influence costs. And look at this. We have a new army to deal with. And the army itself has Caladog inside it. So let's see if... Ooh, they have no one. Okay, yeah. This is going to be pretty simple for us to deal with, at least in my opinion. Let me actually just take a quick look. Byron. Yes. Okay, he's 96 now, by the way. And we're going to take a look. Okay, so we have Kasira, Ortisia, Jamaris, Phykeon, and Hubyar. Alright, so Jamaris is over there. Ortisia is there. I'm just thinking about how close one of my friendly garrisons is, because I'd like to be able to take out some people from the garrison there. And maybe try and shore up our forces just a little bit with some low-tier units. Because as it stands right now, I have about 380 in my army, which is, I'm going to say, pretty good. You know, that's absolutely fine. But I would probably prefer to have a little bit more, especially when going up against Caladog. And he is attempting to besiege Maranath, which we are not going to allow, of course. We are not going to allow that. So let me actually just go into the trade screen here. Oh, there's 180,000 here? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll take all the grain. Thanks very much. And I guess I will sell everything. Yep, sell all of that. Sell all of this. And they still have 69,000. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Let's sell all of this. Wait a minute. There we go. There we go. This is what we want to do. So sell that. Sell the most expensive stuff. See, look at this. I'm learning. I'm using the menus. Yes, I'm using the menus much more usefully than I used to. Okay, there we go. Now, it has left them with literally no money whatsoever, but I think that's fine. I think they can quite easily construct more. Well, construct more. I was thinking about actually building a smithy here, and I thought to myself, yes, we need to construct a smithy, but then it came out construct instead of earn additional cash. Yes, great. That always happens to me. Okay, Nicolaus has actually created an army. Very nice indeed. I actually just want to see what my armies are doing right now. Okay, so you can see that they have relatively similar sizes, with the exception of Nicolaus, who has just formed. And you can see that Akram is going to a Mekalovia Castle. Ingaltha is going to Ormondfard Castle. And then we have Joran that's going to Druimore Castle. And that's exactly what we want them to do. Absolutely. We want them to do that kind of thing. And hopefully the spare vassals nearby will also be able to join us. Oh, look at this. Mekalovia Castle is right there. And where else? Where else do our enemies own things? Because it doesn't look like anywhere. Where would they be going, actually? This is kind of weird, to be fair. Ah, there. Oh, cool. Okay, look at that. They're actually just about to take it. Very, very nice. Okay, so they're taking that. And over there, too. Look at that. They're working so nicely together that they're actually forming a border. A very nice consolidation border for us. Very cool to see that. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're probably going to shadow Caladog a little bit. He's more than likely going to try and take back one of these towns. But we're not going to let him do that, obviously. We're not going to let him do that. So Mechalovia, we're going to give this to Abelitos because he actually has nothing. And just remember that Incurion will be getting something from us if he is an option. And I'm just going to wait until daytime, wait until a little bit more of our people get themselves back on their feet from being wounded, of course. And this guy has one. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We'll give that to him. And we're doing well. Oh yeah, we're doing very, very nicely. I'm very proud of our vassals for actually doing their thing. And here we go. Okay, so we have a slight advantage in terms of our power levels, but I would say that it's not drastic enough to do any kind of auto-resolve. So we're going to go into this one. Now, for this particular strategy, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to have cavalry and horse archers on two different sides of our own center mass of units, so that we can protect from flanking maneuvers from the enemy's cavalry. As you can see right here, there's actually one going over there to the right and another one going over there to the left. And hopefully we're going to be able to defend against those by utilizing our own mounted forces. Now, you can see here that our archers are on a bit of an incline. Hopefully that's going to help them out quite a bit. And you can see here that they're more than likely going to take massive damage just purely from the fact that they're running into our archers. We're also going to be telling our horse archers and cavalry to now charge in. I've got to be a bit careful about my own forces here. And who's that? Oh, was that one of the lords? That was one of the lords running around there. Probably not the best idea, sir. Probably not the best idea to do that. But I guess he doesn't really mind so much now because he's been taken down. But yeah, that's got to hurt. That has got to hurt. But you can see here quite clearly that we are drastically destroying them. So completely here. And I think that's partially in the way that they decided to use their cavalry. If they'd used their cavalry as a main force together, you know, unified against our forces, they might have been able to do a little bit of damage, because they had 48 total cavalry and they split them into groups of 24. And that has made things very easy for my own cavalry, because of course we are focused on cavalry. You know, we are so completely focused on cavalry that we have about, I don't know, probably 200 cavalry, maybe even more than that. And it really just makes a huge difference when the enemy decides to utilize their cavalry in such a, well, such a useless manner. I'm not going to mince words here. Such a useless manner. So anyway, we're going to tell my infantry and my archers to now charge in, because we want them to catch up to the opponent. And we're also going to take a look here. Yeah, so as you can see, I actually have 80 normal cavalry, so that's melee focused cavalry, and we have 151 horse archers, which is pretty crazy. And any kind of field battle, unless you're up against the Kaoses themselves, any kind of field battle is probably going to be pretty simple for us to win. But that's the point. We've got to try and win as best we can here, especially considering the Kaoses are coming up. Mark my words. I know I said mark my words earlier on in this series, but you know, earlier on. Well, I did say it earlier on in the series, but earlier on in this episode, I did say mark my words, and they're probably going to be declaring war anytime soon. I'm actually really surprised that they haven't declared war yet. I would have expected it, but they apparently don't want to. I'm very confused, to be honest. I really don't know why they're not, because this would be probably the perfect time for them to do so. Because, I mean, let's face it, we're up against the Vlandians and the Botanians, and we've been having some, I'm not going to say close fights. Sometimes they've been relatively close, but we have basically been demolishing them. And I think that in general, if the Kaoses wanted to take advantage of that, they would have already declared war. But they might be having some second thoughts considering how strong we have become. That might very well be the reason. But I'm still surprised that they did not decide to go after, let's say, for example, the Sturgian fiefs that are currently under control by the Batanians. I would have expected them to go after those, because that's usually what the Kaoses and the Batanians, or if the Empire was still in the game, that's generally that's what they tend to do. They tend to go after those. So it is a bit strange to me that they haven't done that yet. I mean, I'm going to actually just take a look at the north, because I actually thought that they might. Seems like Melodir is actually going to be escaping, unfortunately. Am I disorganized still? I am actually disorganized still. I might be able to catch him. No, never mind. 6.4, not in a million years. But yeah, as you see here, look at this. I would have expected them to be able to take Varnovopol, as well as Balgard, and so on. But let me actually just take a quick look, because I know that we looked in a previous episode at who they're at war against. They aren't. They're not at war against anyone. I mean, they're at war against the Wolfskins and Embers of the Flame, Karakurja, and Lake Rats, but that's not really anything to worry about, to be honest. It seems like they made peace with the Batanians spring 12/11/02. So about a month ago they made peace with Batania. So I suppose that's to be expected. But anyway, as you can see, our power is relatively considerable, and if the Batanians, I'm getting confused with all these different factions that we're at war against, or potentially at war against. But anyway, the Kaoses are probably a bit worried. I would say if I was them, I would be very, very worried right now, because look at our strength, 25,000. We basically go down to about 23,000 whenever we lose an army or so, and that's pretty much it. But you can see the Kaoses, 29,000. I am going to want to try and persuade many of their vassals to potentially join us as well. If they do decide to declare war, I will immediately aim for Regea, because Regea is going to be a super powerful vassal for us to gain, and it's going to sway the combat strength so dramatically. But yeah, you can see that everything happening right here, there's no way these the Vlandians are going to be able to come back from this. I'm probably going to go over here and take this castle actually right now, and we'll try and take that as soon as possible. Let's actually see if we can form another quick army. Don't want anything too too large, so around about there is perfectly fine. About 900 units should be fine, and we'll leave the remaining units to do their own thing and go into other armies, and that will probably help them out. Okay, so Sarandon or this guy, Sarandon, I guess. That kind of makes sense. Alright, so I think this is pretty good. So we're just going to go in for the auto-resolve here, just eliminate them super quick, and then give the castle to someone. And there we go. Yeah, I actually ended up losing about 17 of my own units, which is really not a big deal. As I've said before, I really don't mind losing 17 or so. The only issue that I take with auto-resolve is when it loses me about 50, 60, 70 units to the Grim Reaper. If that indeed happens, then I am being very ineffective, inefficient with my forces, and that's probably not the best idea. Unless you end up taking a fief that is insanely massively defended. So, for example, if I had an army of about 2,000 and we were up against some defenders with 3,000 or something, then that would be a problem. And maybe doing an auto-resolve or something would help us in that case. But I highly disagree that would be a good idea. I think going in manually would be much better. So yeah, there you go. We've taken another castle, and we've further consolidated our forces, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to do that. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.